Okay, folks, so there's an issue as a streamer and somewhat content creator that I think we as streamers and content creators, big and small, need to talk about, possibly, deal with in general, and maybe even push for better protections on. There's an annoyingly growing trend going on in that some of our viewers are donating, and then a few days or weeks later, after the money's been spent and they're sure it's been spent, they are then refunding these donations to put the streamers in debt. There's a video by theScoreesports called 27k Twitch donation refunded. I will put the links to the Score Esports in the description, and somewhere up here in the corner I'll also drop the video link, and I'll put it in the description below. It's below as well. Basically, there's a streamer who's had 27k refunded from his account after quite a while of that donation being put in. So I think what we as streamers and content creators need to be pushing is for better protections. So first of all, we need to take into account that it might be a child using a parent's credit card, and then the parent has refunded it, not knowingly what that's going to do to the streamer, but they're within their rights to refund the money that shouldn't have been spent. Or a vulnerable person that could get addicted to throwing money at people, like a bit like gambling. So I think what we need to push for there is better protections from the likes of PayPal and other ways that we can be donated to make it so that the person sending the donation has to jump a few hoops to make sure they are sure that that is the amount they want to donate. It also then gives the parents or carers or whoever needs to be involved a bit more power to control the money without negatively affecting someone else at the same time. So I mean, ultimately, if it's a parent with kids that's using their credit cards that they shouldn't have access to, there are two victims in that scenario: the parent and the streamer / content creator. In the case of the vulnerable person, it might be that they're addicted to just throwing money at people and think they have more than they do, and they themselves are also a victim of circumstance in those instances. But then we also have the third, and most likely possibly fourth, included on this, and that's the scammers. The scammers and a certain level of toxic members of the council culture, where they're trying to hit small streamers. I mean, bigger streamers aren't as effective as the smaller streamers, because when we get hit with these big ones, it's painful to us. It's devastating. We've seen streamers that have had to give up their entire streaming thing. Their lives are wrecked. The damage is awful. This is as bad as phone scammers that con people out of life savings. This is just, it's disgusting. I don't even want to comprehend how people can even get this disgustingly low. I really don't want to comprehend it. I don't want to be as vile and disgusting as these people. So we need to be putting better protections for the streamers. So when a donation goes through, I think if it's over a certain amount, a streamer should be able to set a sort of higher end level of the donation where we can say, no, look, if it's over this amount, auto reject it. To cater for on, say, like Streamlabs or Stream Elements, where we have a donate feature, and Twitch and other streaming platforms indeed, where we have the donate feature where we can say, look, if someone sends us over, I don't know, let's just say $200 as a round up number. If they send us over this, auto reject it, for the sake of everybody. As for the other method, I'm surprised. I am utterly surprised. Places like PayPal don't already have this, where it should technically be sat in a sort of stasis. So, I mean, I know everyone wants instant transfers, but in the case of these donation things, we need to be doing something to protect the people on both sides. So it should be placed into a sort of stasis on, say, PayPal and other online banking systems, where it's like, look, there's like a 14-day refund period or something. And then hold it in the stasis so that if it gets refunded, it's not negatively affecting the streamer. This stops the spending of that money. I also agree with a number of other streamers that say, look, donations shouldn't be refundable. I think if you're being donated to an actual charity, I think, yes, that should be the case. But when it comes to content creators like us, let's face it, some of us are trying to make a business out of it. Some of us are hobbyists. I'm a hobbyist. we're doing a sort of self-employment business transaction. I mean, I'm staying a hobbyist at the moment because there's too many hoops for me to jump at this current time. So that's why I say to you, look, if you're going to support me, don't support me directly, just support me in views, likes and thumbs up. But go support a charity. I might be supporting that particular session. As you know, at the moment it's on wildlife, but I can't stream for the time being. I can do recorded videos, so as you can see. So yeah, back to this topic. So if you are a streamer that has been affected, make sure you reach out. Let media know. This needs to be more widespread knowledge. This is ruining people's lives. And I'm not saying it doesn't affect big streamers. I'm just saying some of you it doesn't affect as much. But if it hit you on a bigger scale, I'm pretty sure it would have the same horrifying horrifying way that it's ruined the lives of medium and low streamers and content creators. I just think this is a disgusting practice, and I think we as content creators and streamers need to be pushing for better protections for everyone all around, for parents and vulnerable persons, obviously, for streamers. As inconvenient as having donations put into a sort of stasis for a few days is, it would allow for a cool down period for refunding. So if someone had made it a mistake, they can take it back. Nobody loses this way, except for time. I mean, obviously time's something we can't get back, but at least it doesn't put us into financial hardship. So this way, we'd be safer. I think we need better protections to make sure that, yes, this is the amount the person wants to pay. Make them go through hoops. Make it hard for, say, a 6-year-old child who's got hold of daddy's credit card, mummy or daddy's credit card, and is now spending willy-nilly on their account unknowingly to the parents until they find out on the bank transfer bill later, to much their shock. We've heard of this happening on games and other places. It's happening on streamers as well, so we can't pretend it's not happening. We shouldn't pretend it's not happening because it's just morally wrong. So there needs to be better protections for that kind of thing. There needs to be better protections for the payment system in general, so that if someone has made a mistake, they can still refund it without causing refund abuse, because we're getting scammers and those that are just really toxic in the council culture, who just don't like someone and find another disgusting way to harm people. It's bad enough we get them in our comments sections, posting absolute vile abuse that can, you know, if we're on live stream, can cause our live stream to get shut off and in some cases even counterbanned. But this is worse than just having an account banned and you having to fight for a few days to get it back. This is life-altering. This is life-destroying. It makes people homeless. It puts them into such financial crisis. It costs lives. So we can't be sitting here on our thumbs saying, no, we can't be doing this. So I'm going to link the video up in the top corner, and I will link it as well below. It was a short I ran into, and I was like, oh my God, this is still a thing from a year ago. Why has nothing been done? And the worst thing is, it's getting bigger. Something needs to be done. So I implore you on banks and places like PayPal to really look into this, really take it seriously, and find better ways to protect your users on both sides. I'm not just saying it as a streamer, but I feel I have a moral duty to say it, even though I won't be streaming possibly till next year due to circumstances. But I do feel I have a moral obligation to share this message, and a moral obligation, and I can't use my words, a moral obligation to rally people, to put pressure on you. I mean, we shouldn't even need to put pressure on you, but it feels like we have to. You need to do something to protect your users. So PayPal and other online banking systems, when you're dealing with this obviously rather new to you streaming stuff, you need to be putting in better protections. I mean, like I said to my friend earlier when I was talking about it, we need to be doing something about this, because this is just morally bankrupt people preying on people, and it's appalling. I mean, I'm trying my hardest to stay polite. I'm going to say it. I want to cuss. I want to cuss and be impolite and angry, but I'm trying to keep my... I'll keep it to off stream, and I'll cuss and let it all out later. Okay, so The one on this, I think, was a guy called Coconut. I can't play it because they're using licensed music, so I'm going to have to do it. But I'm going to link it so you guys can watch the original video. I've basically said that what we need to do is a two-tier system. So for kids and vulnerable places, we need to be pushing more, as streamers and content creators, need to be pushing for more protections to increase its, if it's a kid or a vulnerable person that's made an accidental payment. And I say accidental because many kids don't really understand the implications of what they're doing. They just think mummy and daddy has money and it's theirs. It's that type of age. We've all been there at some point in our lives, us older people. We just forget that we have been. Well, most of us do, not all of us. So I've just said, basically, for the accidental payment system, we need to be making them jump more hoops to make sure they are sure of the payments that are going through as they're supposed to be. And it also allows for the parents or guardians to have more power to catch it before it's a big issue for both sides. And then I've said the second one needs to be that streamers need to have an auto-reject system. So we're looking at you, Stream Elements, Stream Labs, Twitch, Kick, many other platforms out there. Sorry, there's too many of you to name. But you need to be allowing your streamers to have a sort of cut-off point for donations. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous. It's like, who would want to cut off £1 million? Well, someone's in 27k debt because of this refund system. The guy donated the money. 2 months later, he asked for a refund of said money, putting that streamer in extreme financial crisis. So, yeah, who would say no to £1 million? For our own safety, I'd suggest that we have a cut-off so it auto-rejects for us. If they want to do it in smaller amounts, then yeah, maybe. But then you'd have to put in an anti-spam system to make sure it doesn't go too high. So yeah, we need that system. Also, at the same time, the places where these monies go through, like PayPal and other places, we need something where you can say, look, we know this is a donation. We want to make sure it's in good faith. So it's in a X amount of time, day, cool-down period before we'll release the money to your account. If you put it into a 14-day cool-down period, like we have here in the UK for most things, there's a 14-day refund period where you can refund an item if it's broken or faulty, or refund an accidental payment, or call back some money if it wasn't supposed to have gone out on the day it went out and it's caused you financial crisis. We have a 14-day cool-down. And I think globally, you need to be doing something along that line so that it's placed into a stasis. It gives time for a refund to happen. And then once that cool-down period is done, there's no refund. After 14 days, no refund. You've had your chance. After that, it now belongs to the other person. So if we can do that internationally with goods, like say, Amazon has this system, for example, although they're pretty much more straightforward these days. But it would prevent refund fraud. Because we've got predators out here now that are trolling streamers. And believe me, there's some disgusting people out there that troll, especially female streamers with disabilities. And then there's the con artists, like the Yahoo boys that we hear about from Nigeria, or the South Asian call centres with their scammers. You know, the type that Kit Boga scam bait. So we know they're out there. We know the scammers are out there. And as a content creator and streamer, even though I'm a hobbyist, I ask that we have better protections, please. Because it's obvious it's necessary. The tech is moving forward, but apparently our banking systems are not. It's time you updated. Please update. Please protect your users. Thanks. Fox out.